Hi, welcome back. Dear class 9 students, look at this picture here. This is from face sheet of unit 1 from your English reader. Right. Can you narrate the story based on the given picture? Let me narrate it. Once upon a time, there lived a lion in a forest. The lion was the king of the jungle. One day, the lion looked at its own reflection into the well. The lion was very angry. It was so angry that he thought that there was another lion in the forest. The lion wanted to kill another lion. As such, it jumped into the well. Obviously, what could have been the fate of the lion? It definitely might have died. Right. And now, here is yet another interesting story for you, dear students. And this has been taken from reading A of Unit 1 from your English readers. All of you, keep your English readers with you and do follow my reading transaction that goes here. Has a snake ever coiled itself around any part of your body? A full-blooded cobra. All of us fell silent. The question came from the homeopath. The topic came up when we were discussing snakes. We listened attentively as the doctor continued with the tale. So, obviously, the narrator is a doctor. He was a homeopath. Homeopath means a homeopath doctor. Right. A full-blooded cobra. Full-blooded is a new word here. And its meaning is strong. Full-blooded means strong. So, the doctor's question is very interesting. What's the question? Has a snake ever coiled itself around any part of your body? Oh my God! You just imagine yourselves. If any snake coils itself around any part of your body, maybe your arm or your leg or somewhere else. Quite horrible the situation is now. So, and the same gesture was expressed by the listeners. Who could have been the listeners here? Maybe the doctor's friends or patients. Right? Okay. It was a hot summer night about 10 o'clock. The doctor narrates. It was summer night and the time was around 10 o'clock. I had my meal at restaurant and returned to my room. Having had his meals in a restaurant, the doctor returned to his room. So, he was narrating an incident occurred in his youth. I heard a noise from above as I opened the door. So, I entered the room. I opened the door. There was a heavy noise from above. The sound was a familiar one. One could say the rats and I shared the room. So the doctor didn't suspect on any strange creature's sound. It is because he was living with rats and some of the other creatures, and it was quite common thing for him those days. I took out my box of matches and lighted the kerosene lamp on the table. A matchbox was taken and kerosene lamp was lit. Right. The house was not electrified. It was a small rented room. I had just set up a medical practice and my earnings were meager. This story happened some 50 or 60 years ago. In those days, electricity was not there in most of the houses and so was the writer's room, the narrator's room. Right. And it was a rented room for him then. And he just started medical practice. And his earnings were meager. Meager means, look at the meaning here. Meager means a very small content. And full-blooded cobra, another meaning is also given. Another word's meaning is also given. Strong. Meager means small in quantity. I had about 60 rupees in my suitcase. 60 rupees means, it's quite meager amount right now. In those days, 60 rupees means maybe 6,000, equal to 6,000. Along with some shirts and dhotis, I also possessed one solitary black coat which I was then wearing. Solitary means single. Solitary black coat means single black coat. I just had single black coat. Perhaps the narrator was a poor guy. He didn't have much amount. I took off my black coat. Took off means remove. I took off my black coat, while a white shirt and a not so white vest, and hung them up. I removed all my garments and hung them up. I opened the two windows in the room. It was an outer room with one wall facing the open air. It had a tile roof with long supporting gables that rested on the beam over the wall. Right? There was no ceiling. There was a regular traffic of rats to and from the beam. So the writer was describing the roof of his house. It was filled with gables, and there were beams, and through which rats would move very freely. I made my bed and I pulled it close to the wall. I lay down, but I could not sleep. So I made my bed and I pulled it close to the wall. The bed was pulled towards the wall, just for air. The narrator tried to lay down, but he couldn't get sound sleep. I got up and I went out to the veranda for a little air, but the wind god seemed to have taken time off. Alas, what a pathetic situation the narrator experienced then. It was quite sweating because it was a summer night. No air, no breeze. So the writer had to take all these pains on that particular summer night. I went back into the room and sat down on the chair. I opened the box beneath the table and took out a book, Materia Medica. So, having sit on the chair, the writer took out the book, Materia Medica. I opened it at the table on which stood the lamp and a large mirror. A small comb lay beside the mirror. So, and now, what's his sitting position? He just sat exactly opposite to the mirror, in front of the mirror. Then what happened? One feels tempted to look into a mirror when it is near. So it's quite common. If at all you look at the mirror, what would you do? You may see your beauty. And same was the situation of the narrator here. I took a look. In those days, I was a great admirer of beauty and I believed in making myself look handsome. So in those days, the writer would admire of his own beauty. So at this framework, he looked into the mirror. Then what happened? I was unmarried and was a doctor. I felt I had to make my presence felt. I picked up a comb and ran it through my hair and adjusted the parting so that it looked straight and neat. Again, I heard the sound from above. So, I immediately took my comb. I started combing it. I parted my hair very neatly. So, I would appear more handsome than before. At the time, the narrator heard the same sound again, third. What could it be? Even then, the writer ignored it. I took a close look at my face in the mirror. So I made an important decision. I would shave daily and grow a thin mustache to look more handsome. I was, after all, a bachelor and a doctor. I was a bachelor and was a doctor. So to look more handsome, I must trim my mustache. Mustache means mesa. I will trim my mustache. I will look more handsome. I looked into the mirror and smiled. It was an attractive smile. I made another short-range decision. I would always keep that attractive smile on my face to look more handsome. I was, after all, a bachelor and a doctor too, on top of it. As a being a bachelor and a doctor, I took an earth-shattering decision. What could it be? To always keep an attractive smile on the face. Wearing attractive smile. Wow. Then again came that noise from above. Once again the sound is heard from above. Third. Totally how many times the noise has been heard? 3 times. The best of my knowledge, 3 times. The first one, right away the narrator opens the door of his room. Then he heard the noise for the first time. The second time, after combing the hair. And third time, after he has taken an earth-shattering decision. The sound was heard for 3 times. I got up, lit a beedi, and I paced up and down the room. Then another lovely thought struck me. I would marry. So, the doctor keeps making imaginations. The doctor keeps making imaginations. I would get married to a woman doctor who had plenty of money and a good medical practice. She had to be fat for a valid reason. If I made some silly mistake and needed to run away, she should not be able to run after me and catch me. Oh, another interesting decision has been taken by the narrator here. What could it be? The narrator decides to marry to a doctor, woman doctor. That's okay, that seems to be good. That sounds good. However, here, yet another peculiar decision has been taken by the doctor. He wants to marry a fatty doctor. A woman who grows a lot of adipose. But what for? For instance, if at all the doctor commits any sort of blunder, he wants to escape from his wife. By then, it was due to her fattiness that she could not run after him to catch him. Right. With such thoughts in my mind, I resumed my seat in the chair in front of the table. There were no more sounds from above. Suddenly, there came a dull sound, dull thud, as if a rubber tube had fallen to the ground. Another time, fourth time. There was a third sound. And this sound appeared as if a rubber tube fell with a force on the land. Surely nothing to worry about. Even so, I thought I would turn around and take a look. No sooner had I turned than a fat snake wriggled over the back of the chair and landed on my shoulder. The snakes landing on me and turning were simultaneous. And now, look at these comprehension questions. Has a snake ever coiled itself around any part of your body? A full-blooded cobra? This is the passage given. And 3 questions have been given hereunder. First one, who is the speaker? The answer shall be the doctor or the homeopath. Second one, who did the speaker address? The speaker addressed to the villagers. See, what do you mean by a full-blooded? It means strong. And more number of questions are for you. When did the narrator hear the sound first? When he opened the door of his rented room, he heard the sound first. What was an earth-shattering decision taken by the doctor? Always to keep an attractive smile on his face. Why did the doctor decide to marry a fatty woman? Because he wants to escape from his wife when he makes mistakes. What did the doctor admire of? The doctor admired of his handsomeness. So in this manner, you keep practicing comprehension questions and answers. And that's all about today's reading transaction. And the rest of the reading passage will be continued in my next session. Until then, bye. Thank you.